Hello everyone, you know the drill, Q&A 16, oldest to newest, let's go. From Snowstorm the Snow Warrior. Have you played the WarioWare games? Yes, I have. I love the WarioWare games. I started out with Smooth Moves because I saw many YouTubers playing that, and man, I had a blast with it. And then I would go on to Gold for the 3DS, and I even have Get It Together for the Switch, and they've all been very fun games. I love how wacky and creatively crazy they are, and I love fast-paced mini-games here, so yeah, I've played them, and I like the WarioWare games. From Ragman. What are your thoughts with the Bill Clinton incident in the Game Awards? Oh yeah, whatever that was. For those who don't know, at the Game Awards, they gave out the biggest award of the night, the Game of the Year. Everyone makes their speech, and then some random kid comes up and says, I want to thank Bill Clinton. It's very weird, and from how it sounded, it was just a prank. Like, some kid was like, yeah, I just snuck up and said it, so I find it hilariously awkward. It's kind of like, wow, what a way to end an award show. And of course, seeing all the people blow up on Twitter about it, and I think it's harmless, just like a stupid prank or whatever. It is kind of funny when you think about it more that some kid was able to sneak up and say that out at the very end of the show, just on live streaming it. It's so funny. But with like the Will Smith slap at the Oscars, nothing surprises me anymore when it comes to weird incidents on live award shows. From Only DS. Do you have plans to go see Avatar Way of Water?
Nope.
To be honest, I've never been interested in Avatar. Maybe it's the sci-fi, like, I feel like of all genres, sci-fi is the hardest for me to get into. Like, if it doesn't have Star Wars in the title, I'm not gonna be interested in sci-fi, but I know Avatar, especially the sequel's getting good ratings, and it's quickly becoming one of the highest grossing movies, like with the first one, but I'm not all that interested in seeing it. From Tommy Soden II. Have you met Tommy Soden? Why no, I have not. I do not know of this Tommy Soden. Seeing how you're the second, maybe you are the son of Tommy Soden. From Michael Doggo. What's your favorite Season 3 Bluey episode? I've never heard of Bluey before. I mean, it sounds similar to Bluey, but this could be an entirely different show. I've never heard of Bluey before. But to answer your question, wait for the season to finish and I'll make a video on it. Just for you. And because I want to. From Andre Healer. What's your opinion on Fairy Tail episode? I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to give you my thoughts on Season 3 when it hasn't even finished yet. I know you want me to talk about how Fairy Tail is a very clever flashback episode with good character development and a good message, and possibly one of the best endings in the show. But I'm gonna save that for when I talk about this series in full. Wait a minute. From Amir550R. What's an odd song that you keep going back and listening to for unknown reasons? Ooh, like an odd song. It's a very odd question, because I guess when you mean odd, you mean like people would call it weird, but you find it oddly fascinating. I guess the first song that comes to my head when I see this question is Lord Chancellor's Nightmare Song by Todd Rundgren.
When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety.
There's something about it where he just keeps talking and talking and talking, like he doesn't even take a breath, and it's like a weird poem. And I mean, Todd Rundgren, he likes to act and do silly voices for some of his songs, but there's something oddly catchy about this song that makes me really enjoy it. It's weird, but I just like Todd Rundgren in general, so that's the first one that pops in my head. From Caspi Cat. Have you heard of Jenny LeClue? I have never heard of Jenny LeClue. Seeing how it's a mystery, I don't know if it's like Professor Layton or something along the lines, but maybe this is a game I should do further research on. Very interesting. From Edward Ryan, what do you think of the Onesies episode of Bluey? Oh, don't you get me crying now. I promise I wouldn't say anything until I made a video on it, but I guess I'll give you a little bit of something. It may be a high contender for my favorite of the season. I know you want me to give you my thoughts on this episode, but you will. I promise, you will. They just need to finish this season first. From Rhyme Time Town, what is your favorite Bluey song? Ooh, this is a good question. Oh, I love the Bluey songs. Like, there's many good songs in this series, but the one I always go back to, and the one that always puts me in a good mood, is the one used in Fruit Bat. I love how upbeat and cheery it is. Like, the dream sequence and that song, like, oh, it always puts me in a good mood, and I'm so glad they put it on the first album. Now it's time to see what they'll put on the next album, which I'm super excited for. From Pongo, what Disney movie do you think was treated the worst? I guess with me being a Pixar fan, I would like to say the movies they dropped on Disney Plus during COVID, like Soul, Luca, Turning Red, I would have loved to see at a theater. Especially Turning Red, because they dropped Lightyear in the theater, which Turning Red was clearly the better movie, and they didn't give it a theatrical release, which really bugs me. Especially Soul, I feel like deserves a lot more attention than it gets. From Toonphibia, what do you think of joining my channel? Oh, I don't know. I've got a lot on my schedule. I've got school to go to. I've got work to work on. I've got new videos to make. I've got food to cook. I've got a family to feed. I've got kids to eat. I did not just say that. From Pepsi Proto, do you plan on playing Bendy and the Dark Revival?
Nope.
To this day, I still haven't played Bendy and the Ink Machine, and no, that means I don't plan on playing Bendy and the Dark Revival either. I do like its kind of use of kind of like a demented classic Disney, but scary games are not my thing. Same with like scary movies and all that. And I mean, I know it's supposed to be more atmospheric, but there's like scary creatures, and I think there's got to be like jump scares in there too, so yeah, not my thing. From Randomness Studios, have you ever played a game from the racing franchise exclusive to PlayStation called Gran Turismo? You know, you could have just said Gran Turismo. I'm familiar with it, how it's a very realistic racing game, but I've never played one. I mean, I like racing games like Mario Kart and all that, but I haven't played Gran Turismo yet. From Diana Solomine, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, what is your least favorite episode of Bluey Season 3 and why? Oh, I don't want to give any hints away, but since you asked... Did you catch that? Okay, good. Next question. From Sponks, do you think you'll do a top 10 best and worst episode ranking list for Season 3 once it's fully out? Yes!
Yes!
I'm gonna do the usual types of videos I do for the season, but gosh, they need to finish this season so bad. I know they released a teaser, but we just need to get to episode 52, or whatever will be the last episode. Because I so badly want to talk about this season, but we've all got to keep painfully waiting. From Trotazik, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I know you've played Night in the Woods, but what would you rate the game 1 out of 10? 10! No. If I had to think about it more, it's not very gameplay-y. Like, aside from exploring and some minor puzzles, it's mostly a story-based game where you just watch and observe the characters, but as a story-based game where you watch and observe the characters, it is fantastic. I would give it 9.5 if I wanted to. It's just the story, the characters, the music, it is top tier. Perfect. From Te Auto Spartan 2000, have you ever seen Alphabet Lore? Oh, yes I have. That internet fad that came and went in about a month. But in all seriousness, I do like the creativity behind it, like how it was just regular letters, and then somehow they morph into a big overarching story with a message and lore and all that. And I'm not gonna lie, I have an F shirt. That shows you how much I liked it. So yes, I've seen alphabet lore and I liked it. It was a very clever idea. From Gabriela Gemen, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, what's your favorite video you ever made? Ooh, that's a really good question. I feel like as I continue making videos, I always surpass myself. Like, if someone asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have said my Ditto Disaster review. Then I would have said my Lavender Town review, my top 15 favorite movies of all time, my favorite movies of 2019, and it just goes on and on and on. That I just feel like I always surpass myself as I get older, but as of now, it's a three-way tie between Saddest Bluey Moments, my South Park movie review, and my Bluey DVD review. And I'll give my reasons why. Saddest Bluey Moments, I know it's the most popular video on my channel, but I liked taking this show that most people would see as for preschoolers and actually showing how mature and heart-wrenching it can be. And it's just fun to talk about the show. I need to find some way to get this video back, but of all the reviews that I've done, the South Park movie is one of my favorites because I feel like it's the one that I've always wanted to make, sort of say, because I was inspired by other reviewers like Nostalgia Critic, Mr. Enter, Angry Video Game Nerd. So doing one on the South Park movie, I just really enjoyed. And while not an original concept, I just had fun making the jokes, talking about the trivia and like the making of it and all that. I had a lot of fun compiling that one. And then I also would say my review on the Bluey DVDs, because of how weird the idea is. Like, it's very rare when someone says, I'm going to review a DVD and see if it was a good purchase. And I'm going to review a collection of DVDs and see which is the best to buy. And I just loved doing that. I loved talking about the pros and cons. I loved doing the Smash Brothers introductions for them all. That was just such a fun video to write and make. And I would say those three. I know it's a lot, but hey, it shows that the question you asked me was a good one. From Treeper, would you ever play the Mother series? Maybe. Aside from Pokemon, I'm not a big RPG guy, but there's something about the Mother games that kind of makes me want to try it out. Well, maybe ever since I played Undertale, I've kind of opened up to more overworld RPGs like that, so seeing how Undertale was inspired by the Mother series, I might have to check that out someday. From Vampirlina, do you like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I can't say if I like it or not because I've never watched a single episode of it. But I will say this, I do like how the stands are inspired by real rock musicians that I find weirdly hilarious. And finally, from Jaden, what is your opinion on pineapple pizza?
Okay, I'm better now.
And those are all the questions for Q&A 16. Hopefully I don't procrastinate this video for months on end, but we'll see once you watch this video. I don't know what else to say. I've done 15 videos of this, so this is just another entry, but hey, 22 questions that were really fun to answer. So thank you all to those who submitted your question. In the future, I'll post a video on when I am going to accept questions, and you can just comment on that video. But until then, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Also, comment down below your answers to any of the questions featured here. Consider subscribing for more Q&As as well as other content, and I'll see you all in the next video.
You're regular wreck with a crick in your neck. And no wonder you snore, for your head's on the floor and your needles and pins from your soles to your shins, and your flesh is a creep for your left leg's asleep. A cramp in your toes and a fly in your nose and some fluff in your lung and a feverish tongue and a thirst that's intense. The general sense that you haven't been sleeping in clover.